thought it was just this crazy place with hot springs. Like, no, that's a super volcano that is a continent killer, and it blows every 600,000 to 800,000 years, and everyone dies. Like, the whole country dies. And it happens every 600,000 to 800,000 years, and the last time it happened was like 600,000 years
see, that's another reason Texas should be its own country.
Well, we'll get hit. We'll get hit. We're all gonna die. If that happens, we're
Joe points out that this phenomenon occurs roughly every 600,000 to 800,000 years. And when you do the math, the theory becomes frighteningly accurate. Yellowstone has erupted 3 times in recorded history, and each one was a massive event. First, the Huckleberry Ridge eruption, a monstrous event which occurred 2.1 million years ago. Next came the Mesa Falls eruption, 1.3 million years ago. And finally, the Lava Creek eruption hits 600.
It's happened before. Was it the Toba? Was that what it was? Yeah, in Indonesia. There was a Toba volcano in Indonesia 70,000 years ago. They think knocked the human race down to a few thousand people.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. These things happen, man, and they happen with regularity. In terms of if you look at the timeline of the Earth, they happen all the time. It's just when. Is it going to happen now, or is it going to happen 1,000 years from now when we have enough technology to mitigate its effects in some way? But when it happens, you get nuclear winter. Everything dies. No crops. Nothing. The sun doesn't get through. The skies are filled with ash.
Michael challenges Joe's pessimistic outlook on the future. In response, Joe argues that his concern stems from the lack of attention people give to these issues. He cites the volcanic eruption in Pompeii as an example of people underestimating obvious dangers, ultimately leaving them unprepared when the disaster struck.
You can't really live your life with concern about something like that happening.
I'm not living my life with concern. I'm saying that's also on the table.
Sure.
So that's why I'm gray.
Okay.
Get it? Because I'm like, yeah, hopefully it's going to be great, but maybe not. And for all of us, the end is going to suck.
I'm glad to hear you're more concerned, as I am, if I had to choose between.
With things that people are dismissive of, or that they don't think of as a threat, because that's when they hit you. When something like people lived in Pompeii, they're like, that volcano, don't worry about it, we're good.
Until you have to worry about it.
Until they just didn't understand. Like you're in a terrible spot to put a city. Like if that thing goes, and it goes all the time, it just doesn't go within your lifetime, so you don't understand. Like you're dealing with an ant's timeline. An ant to us, an ant lives a few days.
Right.
They're gone. We live 100 years if we're lucky. Volcanoes are hundreds of thousands of years of activity, and they go on these long cycles. Some of them, these super volcanoes, and they just blow, and you never know when it's going to happen. And they create islands in the middle of the ocean. That's what Hawaii is.
Yeah.
It's a volcano that's sprung out of the ocean, and now you go vacation there and put suntan lotion on, sit out there and have margaritas. You're on a volcano.
Joe expresses concern that humanity is focusing on the wrong priorities. While climate change gets significant attention, he believes we should also focus on threats like volcanic eruptions and asteroids, catastrophes for which, even with our modern technology, we have no solutions or means of prevention.
And that's our life. That's the reality of living on Earth. This is not stable. That's why all these nutty people that are talking about climate change is going to kill us, and it's going to kill us. It's not good. It's not good that we're polluting. It's not good that we're having a net negative effect on the atmosphere. But also, there's so many other things to be concerned with. We have zero solution to supervolcanoes. We have zero solution to asteroid impacts. We have zero solution to things that have wiped out. We know they killed off the dinosaurs.
Right.
We know that. We know it. We're for 100%. They find the crater in the Yucatan. They find craters all over the place. They found a big one in Greenland or
Isn't there one in Siberia or somewhere?
Oh, yeah, the Tunguska one.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
That's the one that they think happened during the time where Earth passes through this meteor shower. There was a comet shower. How do they refer to it? But I think it's every November and every June we pass through this thing. And most of the time, it just gives you meteor showers in the sky. You see, like, people get excited about that. You can kind of predict when that happens. Well, that's why they know that it's going to happen, because it happens during these times we go through this meteor shower. They think that is what happened in Tunguska in the early 1900s, because it happened during that timeline. So whatever this thing was, it didn't even make impact with the ground. It detonated in the sky, and it killed like a million acres or some crazy shit of trees.
Damn.
For context, the Tunguska event took place on June 30th, 1908, near the Podkamenia Tunguska River in Siberia, Russia. A massive explosion, equivalent to 10 to 15 megatons of TNT, destroyed over 2,000 square kilometers of forest, topping an estimated 80 million trees. Take a look at this image of the explosion site. 100 years later, no trees have grown back in the affected areas. Insane, right? The Tunguska event still holds the record as the largest atmospheric explosion in modern history.
12 megaton explosion. Jeez Louise.
Holy shit, look at that picture.
And to this day, there's no trees there.
Seriously?
Yes, to this day.
Why?
Because it's nuked. I don't know,
No, but
man.
is it radioactive? Like, literally?
It just blew it out, man. I don't know. It just blew out whatever
I mean, it would make sense.
it
that
did to that
the
area.
radioactivity.
That
just
soil
fucking
sucks.
Fuck the whole thing.
Holy crap.
Isn't that crazy?
But also, look at Chernobyl.
1908, that wasn't that long ago.
Up next, on a lighter note, Joe Rogan and Sam Morrill dive into the idea of a future where our thoughts are constantly monitored by law enforcement agencies.
nuclear
Imagine a
reactor that
world
fucking
where every
exploded
thought
in
is
Chernobyl.
scanned through a database, and you can be arrested for simply thinking the wrong thing. Joe and Sam explore how brain implants and chips could give governments this level of control over
there's
us.
the
This is a
potential that they could
conversation
be,
from
no?
episode
I
number
mean, it's not
2103.
Imagine if you get arrested for
entirely
your
out of
thoughts.
the realm of possibility.
Like, because I think some things that I would never do.
You got to erase your browser mind thoughts too.
Yeah.
Like
Could you
erase your history.
imagine- Could you imagine if you had an impulse to just smash someone in the face, but you were resisting it? You weren't going to do it.
Are you a good person if you're resisting it constantly?
It depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
If you're the asshole all the time, if you're constantly getting in fights with people, it might be you.
We all know that person who's like this. I'm like, everyone's an asshole in your stories.
But there's also times when some people need to be smacked, and there's
Agreed.
those moments, like, imagine if you could get arrested because you tested positive for a potential aggressive episode.
to be wild.
Take a
I'd be
COVID test, you get two lines.
You're keeping your shit together, but
federal
you're
penitentiary
imagining.
somewhere.
You're imagining just teeing off
I
on this
think
guy,
everybody
just
would be.
smashing this
He could
dude.
be a danger.
Let's be
Yeah,
honest
like,
here.
hey man,
Yeah.
stop doing it. But if you have that thought, I'm about to smash that guy. A light goes off. The cops come in and they arrest you. And they
Yeah.
arrest you because you had a potentially violent episode. You
You're-
hit red line.
Your red
Sam.
flag.
Sam, this is a serious thing. You
Yeah.
went to red line. But I didn't do anything. But you might have.
Yeah.
Or they'll tell you were going to. We know. We have predictive technology.
As the discussion on government control deepens, Joe and Sam segue into the topic of brain implants and chips. They explore the unsettling idea that a future could soon arrive where we're required to implant chips in our brains to perform basic tasks like transactions to function in society. The thought of how much control governments could wield once everyone
No,
adopts
thanks.
these chips is chilling, and it's no longer a question of if, but when, as Elon Musk's Neuralink has already entered the human testing stage.
Yeah, and I'm not
Well,
putting
think
that
about how much
motherfucker in my head
of our
either.
freedom we're constantly giving away.
Yeah.
When I fly, I don't want to wait in a long line. So I give them, my iris, my fingerprint, all that stuff. Now those lines are longer than the other lines, right? So I'm like,
they?
oh, yeah, if I go to LaGuardia, and pre-check and clear are the longest lines now.
No shit.
Yeah, so
So sometimes you just get and you go through
I
the
just
other
go,
one?
yeah, I take my shoes off again. I'm going backward, but then there's going to probably be a new line. You got to give more. You dip your balls in the thing. You got to give them the outline of your penis. I get the. I gave you my penis. You got to let me cut.
Well, you have to have the update and the chip. Do you have your update? You can fly if you have your update.
Did you update your, dick?
brain? Did you update
We only
your
have your
brain?
flaccid penis. We need a hard penis.
If you have the brain chip, we'll let you pass through. You don't ever have to worry about identification ever again.
I thought of a new wrinkle for that. They can let you update right there at the airport with some janky terminal that's probably hacked, or you could do it at home like everybody else will probably be doing it. When you update,
Yep.
update from a safe place.
Update from a
But
safe
you forgot,
place.
or you have to do it here, like it's like a subway terminal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll get to the point where you'll just have an account in your
This
head
is an
and you won't have to
interesting
pay
one.
for anything with a credit card ever again. It'll all be an account in your head, but only through central bank digital currency. If you subscribe to central bank digital currency, we can iron out all the inequality and all the problems of society today.
They'll get us.
Joe takes a logical approach to implant technology. On one hand, he acknowledges its potential benefits for people with paralysis or certain disabilities, offering life-changing solutions. However, he raises concerns about what happens when healthy individuals start using it. What if the government steps in, makes it mandatory, and refuses to let you remove it, all under the guise of serving the greater good? The implications of such control is scary when you think of it.
If you're a paralyzed person, it's a really good thing. Like it's way better to be able to do that than not.
That's true.
But once we start doing it too.
Yeah.
Sam, I know you're not paralyzed, but let me tell you the benefits of linking up. And you just start talking to your girlfriend.
It's going to be like Jehovah's Witnesses. They're going to be
Thinking
banging
about
on
linking
the
up. I mean, my cousin linked up. He's never felt better. You know, he signed a 1-year lease. You link up for 1 year. You can't disconnect or they kill you.
It'll be like Ozempic. You give the linked up people like a year to see how they do.
You're still watching the stream, right?
Yeah. Why? What are you doing?
Just listen.
Huh?
Just listen.
Okay.
This is a live version of Barry Withers.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
And then you're like, I might link up.
No, it'd be
Yeah,
like military
the other
service.
day when I came back and you were
if you're gonna
listening
link
to
up,
One
you have to
Lane by
link up. You have to
Akon.
commit to 1 year.